Welcome anyone to the Gaming Chamber Podcast episode. Oh shoot, I think it's like 55 or 56. I'm already getting lost. I am your host, Everett, aka 2BCKillyou, aka the Beast with the Least. And I'm just making sure. Yeah, 56. Episode 56. Two-man team this week. Only one joining me, JJ.
Howdy.
This guy, howdy. Yeah, Devin will not be with us this week because he's celebrating Father's Day. So, happy Zaddy's Day to everyone that celebrates it. I don't know. Is that how the kids say it nowadays? Zaddy? I don't know. I'm old. Yeah. What is going on? No. My computer screen kind of flickered. Oh, yeah. I don't know. There's this weird thing where my computer, because I have two screens. I guess maybe because one's just a regular TV just for bullshit stuff that I use. And then I have my actual curved, like, big-ass screen. It, like, will sometimes just, like as if it's reconnecting to the smaller screen. It's a little weird thing. I was just like, whoa, what's going on here? But we're all good. So, yes, again, Father's Day. You know, it's what, the 15th of June? Obviously.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you did your celebrations earlier today and everything, JJ?
Yeah, we had like a lunch thing, like a big, we just just made a lot of food here and just chilled X, man. Watched some fucking Transformers. Just chilling, man.
I worked, so for my Father's Day celebrations, basically. I worked 7 days in a row recently, so like today was my 7th day in a row. It was a brutal week, to say the least. But that's what happens when you want to live in Southern California. I mean, I don't really want to, but I do. So it is what it is. All right, yeah. We got a pretty good week of gaming news. Some big stuff, some smaller stuff, some exciting stuff, and some stuff that, yeah, makes sense, I guess you would say. A couple downer things, too. You know, but we'll get into all that. Before we get into the news, though, JJ, what have you been playing this past week?
I think I've been playing a little bit of Marvel Rivals a little bit early in the week. Did a little weird auto chess thing, tried it out. Try to get some rewards from it. It's weird. Really weird. I think played a little bit of RuneScape, and I've been trying to. Fuck, there was another one I was playing. Fuck, I guess Mario Kart World, and I was playing since I got the Nintendo Switch Online, like the Plus one or whatever, the next one. I was playing some Kirby Crystal Shards and Killer Instincts Gold for a little bit, and then obviously
the expansion pack, right? That's what you mean.
Yeah. So I got GameCube stuff now, and I can play that shit and the other stuff. I don't really give a fuck about GameCube right now. I'm just waiting for more games to come out that I want to play. Like, hopefully they get what was it, Mario Kart Double Dash, Luigi's Mansion or some shit. They're kind of tight.
Yeah.
But man, I'm playing Elden Ring. We played like last night, bro. Fucking hype, bro.
Oh my god, yeah. When we beat that third boss.
Yeah, we first run for the second boss, cleared it with the random. Third boss, never seen it before. Went in, cleared it. You're like, you brought us to like we're half of like I haven't seen anything else besides after this fight, man. From this part.
Well, look, so okay. Elden Ring, Night Ring, you know. Okay, yeah. So obviously that's what I've been playing all this week, and a little bit of Gears of War Reloaded beta this past weekend. But Elden Ring, Night Ring, I just put my quote unquote review on the channel and everything. I love the game, like I really do. But yeah, there is an issue in that, like when you play with randoms, like, because the game does give you all the tools to be able to just beat the bosses with seemingly no issue, or quote unquote no issue. So if you just, maximize the run on the map, or maximize the map, and pay attention to, each boss has the little symbol next to it, like, okay, this is their weakness, this is what you want to go for the kind of affinities, the type of weapons you can get, and then go to those areas on the map. I mean, sometimes it sucks, like we had that one run where was it fire, right? Or poison?
Yeah. No, the fire one was kind of rough too.
It was the one that was like all the way on the other side of the map, and it was just like, wow.
Yeah, it was only one fire.
And it was only one, yeah. So yeah, you can get fucked on that or whatever, but because some of the randomness. But if you go for those affinities, you can take out the bosses with not ease, but like a lot easier than if you just were gonna go with normal weapons. Unfortunately, a lot of time, because it shows you afterwards what type of weapons your teammates were using and all that stuff and what they were getting. I see so many times after a loss, or after a failed run, that they just were using a normal weapon, and it's like, okay, maybe they had like a good like effect on it, a passive ability, because a lot of the weapons do that. Yeah. But it's like, you didn't get a poison weapon, you didn't get a fire weapon, a lightning weapon, or whatever it is, and so like I tend to do that. I will get those things. I will get all the flask charges. I'll try. A lot of times I try to get the smithing stones and stuff. But the problem is, it's really my only gripe with the game is that, like, there's no communication. So, like, you and I playing, even just us two, it's, like, fine. Even with a random, it'll be maybe tough, But, like, when me and Devin were playing...
Night were, like, the two randoms we got last night, they were kind of doing their own thing, but they felt like they knew what to do, or they understood the assignment when we were doing shit.
Yeah. But, like, literally earlier, just, like, damn near 20, 30 minutes ago, I was playing right before, we started, or before you got into the Discord chat, and, yeah, like, I'm playing with a guy who, okay, I'm going to follow him. I let him take control. He seemed to know what he was doing. He, went to get a flash charge. He was like, okay, let's go get a flash charge. Then we got some weapons, and we got another flash charge. We were doing some stuff. But then we got another person, on the team, the third person, and he was just, I don't even know what was going on. Like, he was nowhere near us pretty much the entire time. And, like, by the time I got to the second day boss, and I'm over here fighting, mainly by myself, it seemed like still, because even the guy who was directing us on where to go, he just was like, I don't know what the hell he was doing. We fought a draconic tree sentinel, and I pretty much fought it most of the time because he kept getting hit. I'm like, dude, do you not know how to dodge? And he just was like kind of on his own. And then the third person, they were playing as a Revenant, and the guy who was leading us was playing as Wilder. I'm playing as Iron Eye. So the guy playing as Revenant is just, I don't know. And look, Revenant's a cool character, but Revenant kind of sucks if you're someone who wants to get in the fight. That's why I kind of like Iron Eye, because if I need to, I can back off and hit, use the bow. Because the way I like to play is, as soon as you jump in or jump onto the map or whatever, you drop down, land. There we go. As soon as you land, I switch my bow to my left hand. So then I'm shooting with the left bumper. And I typically want to try and find a sword or, just a weapon that I can use. Not a, obviously not like a heavy sword or anything like that, but something that I can use. It's going to be a little faster for my right hand. So that way I can, like, if I want to, I'll get in, slash a couple times, whatever, back off, go ahead, get back in, slash. Or if I need to, okay, I'm going to back off and just shoot a bunch of bow and arrow shots. Fire a bunch of arrow shots.
Mm-hmm.
And, that strategy works when it's, I guess, when it's you and I got to start playing Wilder if I'm by myself. If I'm just playing, matching up with randoms completely. Because, yeah, if that strategy doesn't work. Because I end up getting the boss's attention a lot of the time. And so, even though I do have a weapon to use on my right hand, like, if I'm just jumping the whole time trying to avoid, Yeah. But yeah. So again, I love the game. I said so in my review. Just wish that there was a way to communicate a little bit better with randoms, or maybe just this just playing with randoms in general is never going to be awesome. So yeah.
True. So we just got lucky last night with those 2 fucking randoms.
No, I mean, like, as much as I'm griping about it, because yeah, it has been maybe, I don't want to say like most of the time, it's like maybe 7 or 8 out of 10. Those runs I'm gonna get, in 7 or 8 times out of 10 during a run, I probably have like an idiot team member, or maybe even 2. There's been points where I've had like both. I'm like, what are we doing? But there are those times, like when I beat the Adele boss, the gaping jaw, whatever it's called, the dragon one. We had a guy who played as the Raider. Is that what the name? The big dude.
Yeah, the big dude with the the axe or whatever.
And he was just. You could tell this dude, like, when it came to Souls games, he was just like, oh yeah, this is easy. He carried me and someone else. I mean, I pulled my own weight, but yeah, he was the leader in that. We followed him, me and the other random, and he knew what he was doing. But like, that's obviously few and far between. So yeah, it is better when you get to play with buddies, because then you guys can, you're able to communicate and be like, no, we should go over here. We should go over here. Oh, you want to get this? Like, yeah, we should go over here and then do this, do that. Like, it becomes so much easier. But yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you and me, since we kind of know a little bit, I think Devin he does it just to play with us and stuff.
You know what the thing is? Devin, I love the guy, but yeah, Devin is kind of like playing with a random, because he's just going to follow us. You and I, yeah, we know what we're talking about. We know what we're doing. So we're going to be the leaders on, like, okay, we should do this, do this. Yeah, Devin is going to be more like a random. But he's better than a random in that we can communicate with him. But, yeah. And I mean, at least we could tell him, hey, you need to pick up a poison weapon or a fire weapon or whatever. A random might not necessarily know that. The thing is, there was that one random we played with that was playing as the, executor, right? And he was getting, or no, Wilder. Was it Wilder or I don't know. He got the right affinity weapons, so that's why we were able to win. Yeah. All right. You know what? Let's go ahead and get into the news, and we'll start with what I think you're probably most excited about this past week. Might as well. We might as well go ahead and talk about it. Silent Hill remake is in development by Bloober Team.
Yeah,
I'm gonna leave the floor to you.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think when you guys when Devin posted it, I think I said they were already wanting to, or rumor had it they were already going to try to develop the other older Silent Hill games. So I wasn't kind of too surprised they were going to remake the first one. I'm surprised they announced it like this a little early or something. I thought it was going to be more like later, but whatever. They still got to take time to make the game. But for Silent Hill 2 being such an amazing shit, of course they're going to remake, the other ones. Assuming once they make 1, they're going to remake 3. And then hopefully they remake 4, all of Team Silent's games, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Well, they already did 2, but you know what I mean. Like, those 4 games should be remade.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably... I saw someone... Or not saw I saw a video, I think it might have been a podcast, where they were talking about that, they're remaking 1. This has to mean they're going to remake 3 at some point. I guess
they would have to. They would have to, because the story, like, I know like Silent Hills do their own storyline, but I think it's like 1 connects with 3.
That's exactly what they were saying. Is that
and then 2 kind of doesn't really connect with 4, but it's references to 2.
Yeah. So what I've heard, what they said on that podcast, and obviously you can verify, is that 1 and 3 are connected. 2 is more standalone. So like if they're remaking 1, at some point 3 has to be remade, just for story purposes, I guess.
Yeah. And the 3 was obviously, I want to say I like the 3rd one too. So it's like 2, 3, 1, and 4 probably. But 4 is just low rank because I really played too much. I think I have the game, but I'm for PS2. But I think I have a kind of a fucking PS2 controller that's kind of a little wonky. Like it's joystick drift or whatever the fuck, you know. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I really want to play it. It's really kind of interesting take on it. I've seen walkthroughs and stuff about it, or just like let's plays. So I'm excited wanted to play. I played the first one, I think, on PSP when I bought this show, like the season store. Like, so I was excited because I watched the movie because I only played the second game, and I hated the first movie really fucking bad. But when I take it more like it's based on the first game, not the second game, I started appreciating more. I know my buddy was saying it's not that bad of a movie, and I'm like, okay, it's not that bad. Since now I started playing the first one, rewatched the movie, I see a lot of connections with the game and the movie.
The first one,
okay,
right?
that's not bad. The first movie, yeah.
You know, honestly,
all they really did was they just changed the genders of the characters.
Like,
it's supposed to be the dad that goes to Silent Hill, not the
mom. Honestly, that first movie is really good.
Like, yeah, low key, yeah.
Like when you actually look, like it's, even if you like have never played the video games, I think it's a good like horror movie in and of itself.
Yeah, and the director that did the first one is going to be making the new one, the Silent Hill. Well, I guess the based on the Silent Hill 2 game. I think it's like Return to Silent Hill. I think that's what it's called. Not Revelation or whatever. That was utter dog shit. It was horrible because I played the fuck out of the third one. Yeah, because I watched it. It's based on the third game, so it goes like 1 and 3 for the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
But when I started playing a lot of the Silent Hill HD collection because I never played the third one, so I played a fuck ton of it. So I like knew everything in and out of the game. So when I started watching the movie, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense at all. This is fucking stupid. And I'm watching a lot of videos. They just shit on the movie horribly. CGI is terrible. Pyramid Head's out again. Doesn't make any sense. He didn't make any sense in the first movie either, but.
I mean, it's
just iconic though. That's
one of those things where like they'll add, movies have to like they add in, or not even add in, but they take elements from the games and even maybe like misinterpret some of the stuff and like this is why this is popular or whatever it is and add it in like.
Because when you think of Silent Hill, what do you think of? So it's like most likely Pyramid Head.
Pyramid Head.
It's like, oh, yeah, see, that's why they go, just throw them in there,
But like even it's Pyramid Head and the nurses seem to be
Those are the iconic stuff. I think nurses are in every single game, essentially. Yeah. But I think different like adaptations of the nurses. It just depends on like who's like the main character and the visions. It's weird, bro, but it's more psychological deep dive in this fucking game, which I love about that shit from the old people Team Silent did. I think that's why I liked it a little bit more than the OG Resident Evils, just because the Resident Evils back then were just that creepy, eerie, lonely feeling and stuff like that in the game. And then Silent Hill's more like really psychological horror game.
No, that's why I like the movie too. The movie brought that in, like that whole like she's by herself. I mean, there's that one character that gets like, spoiler alert for whenever that movie came out. The one she gets like flayed or some shit, right?
Yeah.
I forgot how she gets killed, but yeah, she plays Andrea, right? I think the character's name is Andrea in The Walking Dead. She gets killed pretty viciously. But other than that, yeah, like it's just mainly the Radha Mitchell, I want to say, is the actress that plays the character.
Yeah, the cop? Or the...
No, the main character.
I think the main character?
The actress is Rhoda Mitchell or something like that. But yeah, the cop is the other one. Yeah.
Yeah, the cop's still the same. I think they've still had her as the girl in the game, and then she's still a girl in the movie.
The Silent Hill 2 remake is a PlayStation exclusive right now, right?
And PC.
Oh, it's on PC. Okay.
Yeah, so that's why I was excited when the new Silent Hill F is coming out for all the consoles. Well, besides Switch,
I mean, Silent Hill, the 2 remake is gonna hit Xbox at some point, right? Like they didn't.
That I'm not entirely sure. I thought I could have been a time exclusive, but I'm not entirely sure, to be honest.
PlayStation's never like when there's a game that's exclusive to PlayStation like that obviously will hit other consoles. It's never gonna get. I don't think. As far as I can remember, there's not. They usually are very vague on if it'll come to Xbox or other consoles. I mean, shit, we just recently got Final Fantasy VII Remake coming, but like for all this time, the game came out. I don't know.
It came out years ago, like I think like 2021 or some shit. Right? I was waiting, I thought it was like year timed exclusive. So like,
people are like waiting, and there was nothing. Like nobody knew what was actually happening. So
it says the studio behind the 2024 the Bluebird team, which is on Xbox, it has announced another partnership with publisher Konami for an upcoming. It says in this time the game will be coming up. So I'm assuming the next Silent Hill 1 might be for all consoles, maybe.
I mean, we'll find out, but yeah.
Yeah.
We just know
once we get more details. Because I wouldn't doubt, like Sony just said, like because Silent Hill 2 is such a fucking big ass game. They're like, we want this shit only on our stuff and PC, but whatever.
Yeah.
PC's its own thing though.
Yeah, PC is its own thing, but yeah. All right. But obviously you're excited.
I'm excited.
We'll find out more information later on. All right, let's go ahead and move to the next thing. You know what? I'm going to try and... Because the way the news was this week, we can split it into different things. So I'm going to... Obviously, this is the Silent Hill stuff, or whatever. This is separate. We'll do this thing, and then we'll do a Nintendo section, PlayStation section, and then Xbox section. Because, yeah, we could do it that way. So... next one we'll talk about. Actually, wait. Okay, so here's the random section. This next one is this Mindseye debacle that's been happening.
Oh yes.
So this is a game that created by some people for ex Rockstar people. It was supposed to be like a GTA killer and all this stuff. Yeah. Just think Cyberpunk 2077. When that game came out, all the bugs and glitches and everything that was happening, it's the exact same situation. Like, you should see, like, the one screenshot of, like, a character, it looks like it's... I'll probably put it in the podcast, like, up on the podcast so people can see. But, yeah, it is horrifying to say the least. So, at least Sony, PlayStation, they started to issue refunds for the game. So, yeah, this is going exactly how Cyberpunk was going. And, yeah, I don't know. I'm just, like, in awe of, wow, that this happened. But...
What did they say? Like people were like jealous, or just something like they were saying some shit that people were giving them negative reviews already for the game.
Oh yeah, like one of the developers or the CEO or something was saying that like all the negative press the game was getting wasn't real. It was like paid, and it was paid for negative criticism and bots. Like they were trying to just say like there's no way that people actually hate this game. There was like another not controversy. Some of the YouTubers I follow, when the game came out, like obviously there was reviews. Some people got to play the game and all this stuff. There was like this one YouTuber I follow named Kev Do It or something like that. Yeah, Kev Do It. He like put out a video saying like that he loved the game. He's like, this is fun, blah 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 blah. But the video's sponsored, so like he's got a lot of.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, he's got like a lot of backlash for that. And he's like, oh shit, I think my he's basically said like, oh, looks like my reputation, is taking a hit. Like he's
once that's whatever the paycheck goes through. Yeah, game's dog shit. Like the moment like that shit.
He's saying that he doesn't know how he was able to like not encounter some of the stuff. I mean, we had that too with Cyberpunk. There was people who like, I played the game and I encountered nothing and had a great time. So, I mean, it's possible. I remember I played games too where I'm like, I've never come across any glitches or bugs.
And that's some crazy bugs that like people say, that's so funny. They're like, why don't I get shit like that, bro? I get the annoying ones. You know?
That's happened to me too where I'm like, I'm having great fun with this game. I've never come across anything. But then you see like there's a huge contingent online of people saying like, hell no, this game is buggy as fuck. So, I don't know. I mean, it just happens. Some people get lucky.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. This game doesn't look like it's gonna. I think this game's like, I don't think it's gonna have like that Cyberpunk redemption, because it's a new game from a new studio. Yes, it's ex Rockstar developers, but I think actually too even the CEOs left the studio before the game came out. So like, yeah, it's a sinking ship. One game, one and done. I just wanted to add this in because it's just like, it's just wow. Shoot for the stars moment, and to completely fucking face plant, especially too by a studio that has such like story developers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or people that worked in a storied developer, but yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and move to the next thing. This one right here, I think it's hilarious. So, did we talk about it? Yeah, we had to have talked about it because we talked about Summer Games Fest. So remember when we were talking about the SplitGate 2 CEO, or not SplitGate 2, the 1047 Games, the developers for SplitGate 2, their boss Ian Prohl. He had that hat, he went on the Summer Games Fest stage. He had the hat that said, make FPS great again. He went on stage, made an ass of himself, looking like a, edgy douche lord or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. So, he really, recently, look, as much as I was like, that was so stupid to do, like, to go on stage, do that shit, have this hat that said, make FPS great again, clearly riffing on the MAGA hats and all that stuff. As much as I was ripping on it, just own it still, or just shut up. He didn't do that, any of those. He put out a video, it's nearly 3 minutes, through the SplitGate 2 Twitter account, apologizing. I'm not going to go through the whole video of everything he said. It's 3 minutes. Just basically, he said that he had the hat because he was trying to, like, grab attention, and he wanted to, make headlines and all that stuff.
Like, oh, it did.
So yeah.
Dumb.
And they definitely got a lot of attention because there's a lot of fucking soft people who see a hat and it triggers them into a violent rage because people are soft nowadays. It's just how it is. I make no apologies for my opinion on that. People are very soft. Like, they're soft about a lot of stuff, more than just a hat. But, yeah, it's a hat, people. Like, fuck off. But, to just be like, you know what? I'm going to apologize for it. Dude, just fucking own it. Or, like I said, for me, the thing was one of those things where it's like, you know what? This is the point where you made a good game, a really good game. Just come up and be like, go up on stage and like, this is a passion project, da-da-da-da. I want to make something that's this, and that. Something, this corporate speak, but something that also still sounds like it comes from the heart. You don't have to be like, I'm tired of playing the same Call of Duty every year. And we should... I watched a video earlier that like made a good point that I was like, oh shit, I didn't think about that. That he says in, when he went up on stage that I wish we had Titanfall 3. and then announces a battle royale for Splitgate 2. So to complain about like the stuff that first-person shooters have been doing that he thinks has made the genre stagnant, to then announce a battle royale, which is one of the reasons we don't have a Titanfall 3, because Apex Legends was so successful before, when it came out or whatever. So that's why we don't have a Titanfall 3. Like, sorry, bro, you're adding to that whole, like, stagnation by, like, look, I actually very much enjoy the Battle Royale for Splitgate 2. I like the whole, like, it's, like, 4 different maps in one that are not connected. You have to go through portals to get to the next one or whatever, or to get to another one. I like that, and I like the whole, like, oh, you keep respawning until your whole team is wiped out, stuff like that. There are elements.
I think I said it was Resurgence. No, it's actually called the Rebirth or Call of Duty version.
Oh, so yeah, I like what they've added with with the battle royale, what they're doing with the battle royale. But hey, bro, in the end, you're still making a battle royale.
Yeah, I think I sent that thing on Instagram where we want the normal Halo stuff. We used to play back then, Titanfall 3 and stuff. It's gonna be awesome. And he's like, then you guys proceed to do this shit. Yeah. Like, you guys are gonna use the same multiplayer, just like things like it's Halo, where you're gonna be facing pro players all the time. Like, it's not gonna be fun.
No, like, yeah, I put a video out on the channel, just saying that, like, when I talked about this, a week and a half ago or whatever it was, a week ago, that just like, you can't criticize the genre and then be like, oh, but I'm gonna go ahead and just do what the genre's been doing. A battle royale, a battle pass, microtransactions that are expensive. I get it's a free-to-play game, so the microtransactions are going to be there. But, like, they're doing the stuff that a lot of people complain about when it comes to first-person shooters that they're tired of. People are tired of microtransactions. People are tired of battle passes for some reason. And people are tired of battle royales. So, I don't know. Yeah, and then just to come out and apologize.
The thing about with the battle passes, though, it's just annoying. You're gonna have to commit to a game at that point. Which one you want to grind out the battle
That's actually
pass.
why I like the way Halo does their battle passes, because you could like literally be like, oh, you know what? I haven't played this game in a couple years, and now there's like 5 battle passes. Oh, I'm gonna do this one that they had a long time ago. I'll finish it out and then I'll start the next one. So like if you're like, oh, I'm getting back into Halo Infinite. Yeah, you could do one from from a couple years ago even, and be like, yeah, I'm gonna finish this out, and then move on to the next one and so forth. I think that's the way battle passes should be done. It shouldn't be a thing of like, I understand why they do it that way, where it's like, oh, if you don't get to it, it's gone. But if you really want people to play your game, I don't think you need to do stuff where you're going to create FOMO, the fear of missing out. I don't think you need to do that. I think if you have a really fun game and your battle pass, and you're going to have a battle pass, but it has a lot of cool shit in it, like, you'll get people coming back that have been like, oh, I haven't played this game in a bit. Let me get back into it. And then they see that, like, oh, they can earn all this stuff. And the thing is, too, if they see, like, oh, shit, this was cool. All this stuff that was in this battle pass that I didn't play for those 3 months that I didn't play or whatever, however long the battle pass is, let me play a bunch and earn all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think game publishers just know that the average person's attention span is that of a goldfish nowadays. So, I don't know. But yeah, and as for the whole apologizing thing, him apologizing, I just think, don't apologize. That's the other thing. Don't apologize to people. Like,
10 toes down, bro.
Yeah. Well, because the thing is, look, if he, like, If he accidentally said like some kind of racial slur, on stage, fine, apologize to that. Like, oh, I didn't, wasn't thinking, blah, 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 whatever. But he had a hat. I get that, like, maybe he's like, oh shit, after now all these protests are happening, in Los Angeles recently with like deportation stuff. So like maybe it can seem a little sensitive or whatever with with what looks like a MAGA hat, all stuff. Dude, just shut up. Like, don't even apologize. Like, just continue with the game, and that's it. Like, don't apologize to people over a fucking hat. It's a hat. People need to fucking nut up. Stop being fucking kids. But,
Aren't we all God's children? We're all kids in the eyes of the Lord.
Something like that. All right, let's go ahead and move to the next thing. All right, let's move to the... even though it's the Nintendo section, there's only one thing. Yeah, speaking of kids, the kids' toy. PlayStation has kids' toy, jeez. Nintendo. The Nintendo of America Twitter account put out an official press release, I guess you could call it. An official tweet that the Switch 2 has sold over 3.5 million units worldwide in its first 4 days, becoming the fastest selling Nintendo hardware ever globally. Now, this was June 10th. We're at June 15th now, so 5 days from now. Probably has sold a lot more since then. Yeah. We talked about this, right? And you even made fun of it in the Discord, or maybe not the Discord, maybe our little Instagram chat. All the people who were complaining, like, oh, Nintendo's being anti-consumer. I'm not buying one. But they all went and bought one.
Yeah, like, I'm not buying one. And the guy's like, cool, now I can try to get one.
So, there's two that I could think of right off the bat. I don't remember the name of the YouTuber, but there was one that's like, he's like a Nintendo YouTuber who was like, oh no, I'm not buying one. And then he pre-ordered two of them when the pre-orders came out. So he got caught up in the moment and was like, fuck, pre-order. And he pre-ordered two of them. But I think he didn't like mean to pre-order two of them. He didn't think he could get one, I think, on one website and then got one on the other website. And then it turned out on the other website, he got it. So he's like, oh, I guess I have two now. And he wasn't like, well, I'll just cancel. He's like, cool, I'm going to get two. Something like that. And then there was another YouTuber, the Mudahar guy from Some More Ordinary Gamers, who got one and like had to apologize to his watcher base or whatever, the people who watch him, his fan base, because he said he wasn't going to buy one and then he bought one. And it's just like, really?
I don't know why, bro. Like, it's just like, okay, it's like some of those things when all the YouTubers have a fucking ton of money, bro. They don't give a fuck, bro.
But it's not even that.
It's also like, dude, if you're poor, you're poor, dude. Just say that.
But no, the thing is, it's not even that. It's, if he wanted one, okay. How does him buying a Nintendo Switch 2 hurt you?
Yeah, like, it's his money, bro. Like,
it's his money, and if he wants to...
yeah, yo, Eric, don't spend your money on a Switch 2. I demand you not to buy it. Like, my money, bro.
Like, honestly, if I had the money, I probably would have bought one. I'm kind of glad I didn't, because honestly, if I did have one right now, I might not really be playing it, because there's not anything that I would just be probably replaying Breath of the Wild slowly, and then after that, Tears of the Kingdom. Maybe I play the Wind Waker, because it's on the GameCube stuff. But, like, other than that, like, there's not much I would want to play on the Switch 2 right now until Legends A to Z comes out, or AZ, whatever it's called. ZA? Legends ZA.
Mm-hmm.
When that Pokemon game comes out, yeah, I'll want one. So I think I'm kind of glad I don't have one, because it kind of would just be sitting there and I'd be like, yeah, I have one. It's nice to look at, but I'm not really using it. So whenever Pokemon Legends comes out, most likely I'll go ahead and buy a Switch 2 with it. Mm-hmm. And it looks like I could just, like, they're not difficult to get. Like, it's funny because they're not that difficult to get. So, like, you could even look at like if you go online to eBay's and your local like Facebook markets and stuff like that where scalpers sell these things. They're not selling them for like that much more. They're selling them basically for like $50 more than what the Nintendo price is. So even they know like, oh well, people could just buy them normally.
Yeah, so it's like, oh no, you just spent more money, bro, and you hardly made enough money to do that.
Yeah. So, how do you feel? You were part of that 3.5 million. Oh wait, did you get one? Yeah, you got one within the first 4 days, right? Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Literally, I was at the store at 6:55 in line waiting for my shit.
So congratulations to Nintendo. They're getting more money and doing whatever they're gonna do. That's the other thing. Like when people are like, "Oh, this is just feeding into Nintendo, and they're gonna keep doing what they're gonna do." They're gonna keep doing what they want to do anyway. If the Switch 2 became like a failure, they would just move on to the next thing and just like do what they would want to do. Like just because the Wii U was a failure doesn't mean that they switched up things that the fans would have necessarily wanted. They just made their own thing, did their own thing, and it happened to be successful.
But yeah, it's a predecessor of the Switch 2, dude. Like the Switch.
Yeah.
They're becoming a handheld of what it is today. Without having the Wii U, we wouldn't have had the Switch.
I think they were already doing the Switch, and nothing changed. They just moved up their timetable. That's all.
You're a timetable.
Oh my god. All right then. Again, good for Nintendo. Whatever. Eventually, I'll get a Switch. Let's move to the. You know what? I think we could do the Xbox thing first, because there's only really a couple of Xbox news stories. The bulk of it's more PlayStation. So let's get to these two. Yeah, there's 3 things to talk about with Xbox. All right. So the first one is the Xbox handheld. So obviously we know recently Microsoft, what was it, last week actually, last Sunday, they announced the partnership with Asus for the Xbox Ally and Xbox Ally X. Just a beefed up ROG Ally and Ally X. There's been obviously good reception, bad reception, depending on where your console loyalties lie. Again, I've said it before, like, I'm more of an Xbox fan. Like, I'm not going to hide that shit. I am critical of Xbox when you need to be, and I do love PlayStation still, but I don't like PlayStation. We'll say that. Because they don't do enough that I would like. I am excited about the Xbox Ally. I would like to be able to maybe have all my, PlayStations and Xboxes and Nintendo consoles as just handhelds that I could actually even just connect to the TV, which I'm assuming you'll be able to do because I'm pretty sure there's a dock thing or whatever for the ROG Allies. Probably would even just work for the Xbox Allies. So I am excited. I would like to get one. We'll find out about price, which, there was a leak about the price from, I think his name is Xstasis. It looks like it's probably going to be in the $8,000 to $1,000 range, but obviously that's just a leak. But I guess because they've now, seen the reception to this and they know they need to focus on like the software side, there's now rumors that their own proprietary handheld is essentially canceled because they're going to focus on the Xbox OS for third-party developers, I guess, and their hardware. Again, this is rumors. And honestly, if they do this, I kind of would prefer that if they cancel it and just like, hey, you know what? We're not going to do a handheld. We'll have other people do handhelds for us, and we'll work on the Xbox OS. Because they're still doing a console.
Okay. I was gonna, for some reason my brain was being dumb. Like, they're not gonna make their own like thing. They're gonna just partner. They are doing right now.
I think when it comes to handhelds, this might be the better thing. They could, instead of splitting resources on two different hardware, they could focus on one hardware and the OS that works with both styles of hardware, because it's just the Xbox OS. So if you get an Xbox OS that works on the console that does basically you could still have Steam on it and good old games and Epic, what is it, the Epic Game Store or whatever, and it works on the console. Then you just like, oh yeah, and we're also putting it on the handheld that Asus is making, or Lenovo, or whatever. Mm-hmm. And, I think that's the smartest way to go about it. Because here's my thing. I've seen a lot of talk recently, from a lot of people. Obviously, there's Sony fanboys who are just like talking shit about this, for one reason or another. And then you got the Xbox fanboys who are defending it, but you also have the quote-unquote Xbox fans who kind of just shit on Xbox all the time. Mm-hmm. It's kind of weird, because to them this is signaling, for all sides that are hating on this, the Xbox Ally, that to them this is Xbox signaling that they're going to be bowing out of the console market. Whether that remains to be true or not, like, we'll see. They said they're doing another console, and there's nothing so far that says they're not going to do another console. Mm-hmm. This just says that they won't do another handheld, or they won't do a handheld. My thing is, Microsoft has always been a software company. This is what they do. They work on software. It's Windows. Yes, they have their own, like, there's the Surface tablets and I think Surface laptops. I don't think there's a Surface like PC. So they do have their own stuff, and they've tried to do other things, like there's the Windows Phone, which I thought was awesome. But they've always been a software company. So to me, if you don't need to, don't split resources and your focus when it comes to the hardware side. Focus on the console, make it a really good console, but make sure that you have your OS team make that Xbox OS really, like, make it a really good OS, and then, that translates and goes over to, third-party developers that make the handheld hardware for you, and it's just essentially, it is essentially an Xbox in handheld form. Just not, the hardware is not made by Microsoft. I mean, I don't see the issue with that, because like right now, are you on your computer, JJ?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're on your computer. I'm on my computer. What's the brand of your computer?
Like the desktop, like the one I have?
Yeah, like it's obviously Windows, the operating system. But what's the actual, like, the hardware, the computer, the actual PC? It's
like the desktop is like an Omen. It's an Omen.
Omen? Okay, so there you go. Not Microsoft, right? And then I don't remember the name of the company that made the computer I have. But it's obviously not a Microsoft, proprietary hardware. It's a third party that is using the Windows software for their computer. So I've never understood, or not that I don't understand this whole, like, if Microsoft doesn't want to do the handheld, why is that a bad thing? Let them focus on the console. If they focus on the console and they make it really well done, you know, and then they have their OS to go along with that, you're getting a win-win situation. Am I crazy in thinking that?
I think so. No.
Maybe.
But we're a little crazy, man, in this podcast.
I don't know. I hold a lot of opinions that obviously are never going to be, like, popular. Like, you know, we'll go ahead and move to these next two Xbox stuff. Or, you know what? Actually, before we do that, I do want to get your thoughts on, your opinion on, like, yeah, if they are going to actually not make their own handheld. What do you think? Do you think...
I agree. Like, I really don't want them to make a handheld if they're already having this other handheld. It'd be kind of just weird. It's just like, I just let them just make it was Asus, right? That makes this handheld. It's like,
yeah, this one is with them.
Yeah, so like I think that's fine. Asus I think has good hardware anyway. Just let them do it. They've been doing computers, things like that. For the gaming stuff at least, so they already know what it is. They're just adding the Xbox name to it, you know.
Oh, I believe
let them work on it. Because I
believe the
manufacturer
for my
console.
PC Skytech.
The fuck? But like, I'd rather have them like work on a console that makes it really good as shit, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like, push the limits and stuff like that. Because I feel like we still haven't yet to scratch these games that make it like insane, bro. From like the 360 generation, you know, like I think some of my buddies like on another Discord. I'm like, it's like these games nowadays. It's just there's never a big fucking like jump of graphics anymore. Like by like a fuck ton. There's just a few games here and there, I guess, but you know, when you play the PS1 and like the N64, then it's like, God, I just got a GameCube now and PS2. It's insanely different, bro. You know, like Resident Evil 3 to compare to Resident Evil 4, you're like, holy shit, dude, what the fuck, you know, shit like that. It's just, but now it's just the same game, it's the same thing, bro. I think everybody just worries about this unnecessary bullshit, man. Like I think we said it like months or years ago, like that they just want to just focus on the little things that nobody gives a fuck about. I want them to make I want all the games to look like the Demon Souls remake. Like I felt like that pushed the PS5 a little bit, you know. And that was a fucking launch title. I never got that high again from any other game.
Well, I mean, yeah, like Devin has harped on it a lot. Like they focus on like details, like, oh, look at this, you could see the sweat dripping from. Like, I think there's only one developer that I think can get away with doing stuff like that because they don't seem to skimp on the smaller details and stuff like that, and then their game doesn't look as, or they do that and then their game still looks graphically amazing somehow, and that's Rockstar Games. They'll do stuff like that, like in the GTA 6 trailer, people were like, holy shit, like the fucking the beer that the guy character has, or some guy has, whatever, like you can see beer and it's got like the perspiration on it and everything. So like, but like that game still looks like graphically awesome. Obviously, it's, you know, people are pissed off that it's not gonna be 60 frames per second, but like when it's gonna be on console, like that's just what it is nowadays. I think.
Well, you know, because it's 0 frames per second on fucking PC, so. Until like what, next year? Well, 2027 or some shit.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but hopefully, you know, they'll let Asus work on that shit, have that, make newer models or whatever. I don't think Xbox needs to make a fucking handheld, bro. I feel like I don't know why they're really getting to the handheld of shit. I guess because Xbox Gamepass could be on like smart TVs or the dongles or some fucking shit, right?
Look, I think it's a smart business strategy, and we'll get into it too when we're talking about the PlayStation like business meeting thing they had. I think it's a smart business strategy to develop a handheld. Nintendo has already beaten both Microsoft and Sony to the punch when it comes to that. And look at how popular the Switch 1 was. It's like the third best selling console of all time. I know people will be like, well, PlayStation 2 was the best selling console of all time. So traditional console's still the best. There's a reason the PlayStation 2 is the best selling console of all time. Because there's a fucking DVD player.
Yeah, sure. Music player. But the Switch also did help with COVID. That's a big fact.
But if you look at the second best selling console of all time, it
was the Wii, right?
The DS. Yes, the Wii.
Yeah.
I think it's the DS. I mean, granted, I think they lump in the DS, DSi, 3DS, and all that into that family of console. The DS,
Lite. The DS Lite, and the DSi.
Yeah, all the different. Yeah, still. But there's a reason.
The DS Lite was fucking peak, bro.
Well, because look, here's the thing. Obviously you and I would be, considered more of the, quote unquote hardcore gamer. We like to play our games on consoles, or if we can play it on PC, like that. What's more defined as hardcore gaming. But when you really look at the wider gaming landscape, the market, we're the hardcore gamer is not that big of.
I don't know, man. I feel like I get the handles kind of very convenient and stuff. Yeah, when I was 15, cool, just taking my shit over. That's why those consoles were hella good, because they were just buying DSs and stuff, fucking PSPs or some shit, just back in the day. But then, the same crowd that did that, we just stay home, dude. If you're a gamer, you kind of just stay home and do your shit, bro. I've never seen people literally out and about, in the Switch commercials or some shit. They're
okay,
hey man, come over here, play. I don't see anybody.
Maybe not shit, you, but I've seen in a, I'm
like airports.
I live in LA.
I've never seen them there. Video game bars. I don't see anybody with they're bringing them.
I live in LA. I've seen a lot of it, especially when I used to work in the Hollywood area. I saw a lot of people either playing on tablets or Switch, the original Switch. I saw a lot of that. There is
maybe because I guess so. I think the thing is I don't know. Since being a dad, I can't fucking just bring my Switch. We're going on a fucking trip to Cali. Let me bring my Switch and also watch my 2-year-old son. That ain't happening.
Well, here's the thing.
That's why for me, I can't really justify buying handhelds anymore. That's why I have a Switch too, but that shit's docked forever. You're still in the, because no, it's not even you buying a handheld. You can't because you're a father now and all that stuff. It's not even that. The majority of people. This is what I was getting to. We are now kind of a smaller segment, still a huge enough segment, obviously, for the gaming market share, but the casual audience is really when you look at sales of games and all this stuff. Look at the PlayStation 5 or 4. I mean, it sold 100 and something million units, but when you look at their first party games, you get oh yeah, this game sold 30 million units, but that's still about a quarter of what the PlayStation 4 sold. When you look at what sells, it's Call of Duty, Madden, FIFA or whatever it's called now, the soccer games. Those are what sell. And when you think of Call of Duty could still be considered hardcore, but it's also considered pretty casual. There's a reason, a lot of the stuff they have in there is the way it is. And Fortnite too. Fortnite is a casual game. A lot of kids play Fortnite, whether it's on their tablet or on a console. So, you got that. But you also have I've seen a lot of women love the Switch. They want to play the Switch because they can play it wherever they want to play. Or I was dating a girl recently who had a Switch, and she played the shit out of it. She played games on it too. It wasn't she just played Mario or something. She had Castlevania and stuff on it. Things that would be considered more hardcore. But
she got to play it sitting down on or laying down on bed and on her bed and just play it like that, while I was doing whatever I was doing when we were hanging out. So like, yeah, it if Xbox can tap into that audience that doesn't care about the console like that and would rather have like a handheld, granted, they're going to have a tough time selling it, because if this thing is $800, yeah, but you could see where they're going. That's why I think both PlayStation and Xbox should be looking at making handhelds, because I just think that's where the gaming market is going to be at some point. And it comes back to what I was saying, that like everyone has the attention span of a goldfish. Sitting down on
you want to play your Switch not on the TV but on the bed or a couch hanging out with somebody else. Like, that's just fucking stupid to me.
No, look, I get that. I completely agree with you. It is stupid. But that's what it's become.
Yeah, the only thing I really do is just gaming, and that's just on my phone or my fucking tablet, because I play fucking RuneScape. That's the only thing I really do when I'm at home. And the only thing with RuneScape, because I have cellular data on my iPad and my fucking phone, obviously, so I could play that whenever the fuck I want. How the fuck am I gonna play Call of Duty when I'm like in the fucking air, bro? Instead of a campaign, like let's face it, who the fuck? Like, I don't want to play campaign. I want to play online.
Again, you're part of the hardcore gamer group. That's why you think the way you're thinking, and it makes sense. And and yeah, I think that too. Like, I still have a console, still want to have a console for a reason, but I do want to get a handheld, because I could, yeah, if I'm gonna go out and about and like, I want to play this game and it's a campaign that I want to go through. Yeah, like the Outer Worlds 2, when that comes out, if that, if I'm able to actually get an Ally X, like, yeah, you know what? I might be at work. On my half-hour lunch, I'm going to play a little bit. I'm going to play a quest or two in Outer Worlds 2. That makes sense to me. Especially, too, I kind of would like to have it because, with the YouTube channel and everything, I want to try and get through stuff a little quicker so I can review games and all that stuff. But, to me, it makes sense. Also, I think the Ally X makes a lot of sense, too, because it's still essentially a PC. So if you could just, like, if I can replace not replace, but if I could use it like where I connect it to my monitor, then yeah, okay, when I'm home, plug it into a dock, and then there you go. I can see the advantages of having the advantages of what Microsoft is doing and having one of those. I can see the advantages. But obviously time will tell.
Okay, so you're pretty much for it. I'm kind of against it.
I'm for it. I'm for it because I believe it's going to advance gaming. For me, gaming is so. When it comes to entertainment industries, music has relatively stayed the same. Yes, there's like different genres and different mixtures of genres, but like you're not gonna get a new style of music. You know what I mean? Or a new way to listen to music. It's just you listen to it, and that's it. Same thing with movies. Maybe they've tried different things. Like 3D or maybe an interactive movie here and there. But essentially, movies have been the same. You sit down, you watch it for 2 hours, and that's it. Games are not like that. It's an interactive medium through and through. The way you interact with that medium and the way you consume that medium or buy that medium or whatever is going to be different. Like, completely different ways. Whether that's you're going to buy to own it and you have the physical disc, or you're going to buy to own it and it's a download only, or you're not going to own it at all because you're subscribed to, Gamepass or Ubisoft Plus or EA Play. or PlayStation Plus Premium, you know. So because of things like that, you know, the gaming landscape, it's an ever evolving thing that has to be, you know, maneuvered through. And I mean, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, yes, you could play video games online, but obviously you're not going to remember this as well, but I remember it because I was a kid and you were like a baby. But, you know, mid-90s, yeah, you could play video games online through the computer and all that stuff. But, like, you would not have heard people talking about, like, yeah, video games online are going to be, like, huge. And, like, it's going to be, like, everywhere. And then Microsoft came out and was like, hey, you know what? We're going to add an Ethernet port to our console. And now, yeah, like, you know, consoles, you and I play video games online all the time. That's just how it is. Microsoft, you know, had the forethought, the wherewithal to be like, hey, you know what? You want to download this game? I forgot. I think it was Miss Pac-Man on the original Xbox. Like, you want to download this game? Cool. We'll call it Xbox Live Arcade. And, you know, and then they moved over to 360 and evolved that. But I remember during the 360, they were like, oh, you know what? You want to just download your full game? You could do that too. But I remember a lot of people were just like, that's a weird thing, but, you know, whatever. Now look, you know, that's a huge market, the digital market, you know. Like, I know I'm kind of focusing on Microsoft, but they've been ahead with some of their, with, you know, where the gaming industry has moved toward. Some has been received well, some hasn't. Like, when they were like, hey, yeah, this console needs to be connected to the internet to do anything. Or not to do anything, but to do a lot of it. And people fucking freaked out. But now, like, you know, everyone's connected to the internet at all times. And even on PlayStation, if you're not connected to the internet, it's like, hey, you're not connected to the internet, you're probably not going to really be able to do anything or play some of these games. But Microsoft tried to do that with the Xbox One, and now that's just how it is. Microsoft has continuously pushed the gaming industry forward with a lot of innovations that, like, make sense. Which, again, you know, is kind of funny because it's like some of it hardware, some of it software. So, I mean, you know, yeah, we had some subscription stuff because there was like Xbox Live Gold and, you know, PlayStation Plus, whatever. PlayStation Plus Premium is different now to what it was when it first started. And look at Gamepass. And we'll talk about it later, but like Gamepass, you know, or not Gamepass, PlayStation Plus, I think eventually is going to have to do what Gamepass does. Because Gamepass has now created this thing where, like, hey, if you don't want to buy the game, you could just play it. Pay us some money, but yeah. And I think that's a good thing because, especially now with like everything getting more expensive, you know, paying $20 a month. Well, we'll talk about the price now in a little bit or whatever. But yeah. So I just think if they are moving toward like, maybe this next console is their last console, and they become just an operating system where now there's no such thing as console makers. There's just hardware makers that get the OS, and now you have the PlayStation OS and the Xbox OS. Maybe not Nintendo OS. They're probably always going to be stuck in their ways. But if we get to that point, maybe 10, 15 years from now, like, people are going to look at this point in time right now and be like, yeah, Microsoft saw what was happening and was like, yeah, we got to pivot toward this way. And so, like, if they're gonna do this, they got to make sure it's enticing. And like I said, the things they're doing, I think it's enticing to have this handheld that's a powerful handheld. Yeah, it's not going to play your games at 4K or whatever. It's 1080p the screen, but who cares? Maybe, like I said, you connect it to the dock and that's 4K. And I think because they saw too what Nintendo was doing. Like, I think Nintendo saw it too. Like, hey, yeah, we need... The handhelds are the biggest thing. But if you could combine them, that's going to be even better. I don't know. I'm just looking at it from a point of view of, like, things are not going to... The way things are now in the gaming industry are not going to be the same a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now.
You know what's not gonna be different? Fucking Sony making their handheld system and failing like the other ones had.
Well, that's because Sony has a tendency to... Dude, the PlayStation Portable and the Vita were fucking awesome, but they just barely supported those things. That's what it comes down to. And see, and that's my issue too. Like, people are like, oh, Xbox is gonna do this handheld and blah 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 blah. But it's like, they're gonna support this thing. Because they've shown that regardless of where they are in the industry, whether they're third place, second place, first place, they're still supported their own system throughout it all. They haven't abandoned anything like that. The Xbox is still around. Xbox could have easily been like, you know what? We fucking fell on our face hard with the Xbox One. And because the Microsoft CEO, Satya Nadella, he didn't even want to keep the Xbox brand anymore. And they fucking fell on their face fucking hard, like I said, with the Xbox One. They could have been like, you know what? Yeah, fuck it. We'll sell this off, or we'll just close it down, and that's it. And that's it. No more Xbox. They could have easily done that. Especially, like I said, higher-ups in Microsoft were like, yeah, we don't even want to keep this anymore. But you have guys like Phil Spencer who fought for Xbox, and they're still here. And now, Satya Nadella, whether he believes it or not, he's probably just corporate speak. He's like always singing the praises of like, yeah, we're doing great stuff with Xbox and blah, 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 blah. So, like, I have no reason to believe that Microsoft will not, that they're going to just like not support this handheld stuff. So that's the other important thing, is that like they're going to support this. Whereas like, yeah, PlayStation didn't support. Dude, they barely support their VR, Like, we saw the Thief VR game, but like...
And then Deadpool. But I think Deadpool's MetaQuest though, right?
Yeah, something like that. I'm just saying, like, there's a big difference between what PlayStation's doing. Like, yeah, they're supporting their console, but they basically have only focused on that. They try to dip their toes here and there. Microsoft is trying to do more, and they're willing to support it. Maybe they do this handheld, and it fucking fails, and they're like, you know what, fuck it, whatever. We're not going to keep going. That's a complete and total possibility. But I think that they are like, no, we believe in this shit, and we're going to make this a reality. And this is where gaming is going. Because they could have easily done the same thing with Gamepass as well. Like, Gamepass didn't come out the gate and was like, oh yeah, this is a success. They had to push hard and work at it to make Gamepass what it is today. And it is the best, value in gaming. And, we'll talk about it too. Because with Game Pass, there's a rumor that they're going to be raising the price soon for Game Pass. It's like $20 right now. Probably go up in maybe $5? I don't know. But like, to pay that much and you get the games, again, we talked about this, I don't know, a month and a half ago, within that, in one of the podcasts. Like, recently, look at what we had in Game Pass. We had the Elder Scrolls. There was that Claire Obscure game, Avowed. Just this year alone, from games that came out. Like, if I go to the Game Pass section on my console, like I said, what came out not that long ago was, like I said, Elder Scrolls,
Doom Dark
Avowed,
Ages.
huh?
Doom Dark Ages.
Doom the Dark Ages. They just added that Warhammer Space Marine Mastercrafted Edition. There's the Altars. Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 remaster or enhanced editions are on there now. These are all games that just came out recently. That Metaphor ReFantazio game. I'm looking at...
That came back on Pass, too.
Towerborn.
That's kind of cool.
Like, they've been adding a lot of stuff to this.
And I was really telling my buddy to get it. He's like, no, dude, I don't want to do that. Like, I want to own my games. So I'm like, dude, what PC game have you bought physically, bro?
Dude,
like,
and like,
instead of buying on
the most recent, biggest release on Game Pass, Barbie Project Friendship, dude. Like, come on.
On a side note, I have downloaded that so we can all play.
I actually heard it's a very easy 1000, apparently. I don't know. Would I be... If it is a easy 1000, am I shameless enough to play a Barbie game for an easy 1000? Probably. Yeah. I don't know, man. You know what? Let's add this into the conversation. Because we've been talking about this Xbox stuff. So now, with everything that's going on, with Microsoft and the Xbox stuff, like I said, there's been a lot of criticism of what they're doing, but like recently, people have been noticing that if you're going to buy a game on Xbox, specifically it was Ninja Gaiden 4 and The Outer Worlds 2. It doesn't look like there's going to be physical discs in the boxes anymore. They say digital game code. What also lends credence that like this is where Xbox is going, is that they don't have a physical edition for Gears of War Reloaded for the Xbox, but you can get a physical edition for the PlayStation. I've had to actually pre-order a physical edition for PlayStation because I still, for my collection, my Gears of War collection, I need to have an actual copy of the game. So, yeah, like I said, Microsoft is continuously trying to push the industry forward, and I have a lot of like thoughts on this, so I do want to get your thoughts on Microsoft looking like they're gonna go full digital.
It was Ninja Gaiden 4. Yeah, that one's weird, but with Gears, I thought it's like because as long as you have the Ultimate Edition, it just upgrades the shit for free, right? I thought.
Yeah, I mean that's another reason probably why they didn't really care about the physical disc, because like a lot of people on Xbox most likely owned Gears of War Ultimate, so.
Or if you just gonna have Game Pass, okay.
But yeah, that's the other thing. They're focused on Game Pass. But yeah, like I don't know. Does that bother you that it looks like they're abandoning physical media?
It kind of sucks, for sure. Like like getting collector stuff. I mean, like having a game for your collection is kind of tight, but like it's like for instance, like Silent Hill F. Let's say that one's gonna becomes I take that back. Yeah, never mind. Because I'm buying it digital anyway. Because you get 2 days early for digital deluxe. So that's a fucking shit example. But no, like Viva Pinata. Like I'll be pissed, bro, if I don't get a physical copy of Viva Pinata, bro. Cause usually like that, they don't really have a collector edition either, right? Most likely not.
So no, like I said, they're still doing the boxes, and they'll probably still do like.
Oh, that's a fucking code in it, right?
Yeah, there'll just be a code in the game. Like honestly, if they were that's the thing, they're not even selling like a box for Gears of War Reloaded. If they were at least selling that, I'd buy it on Xbox instead of PlayStation, because I don't care about the disc. I care about the box, and this is like a newer version, a newer release of a Gears game. I know it's obviously Gears of War Ultimate just remastered, but like the box art is different, and I'm a Gears guy, so yeah.
McGee's guy, bro. McGee's
but
guy.
No, look, I mean, they'll still most likely do collector's editions and all that stuff, but you just won't have a physical disc. You'll have a code. I mean, they've done that already with, like, Halo Infinite, right? Was a code, I think, with the collector's edition and stuff like that. I don't know about Doom: The Dark Ages, but they've done that before, so I assume that's what they'll be doing. Still, all I care about is if I buy like the next Gears of War E-Day. Let's say, that for example. Give me a steelbook. I don't care if there's a code in it. Give me a steelbook with the, what do you call it? With an awesome statue or something, or an awesome collector's edition to go along with my fucking JD Phoenix statue and my Marcus Phoenix statue from Gears 3 and 4 respectively. I still need to get the damn Jack drone from Gears 5. I should have had that already. But yeah. Cuz look, my opinion on this, again, I will always have not popular opinions on stuff, and I have an unpopular opinion on this. I think people are going to have to accept that at some point physical media is just dead. And yeah, you may want that disc, but at some point, no, they're not going to be a thing. Because, I mean, you have to look at it in how these companies want to sell you the game. If they could sell you a game as digital code, and especially now at $80, and you buy it, that's it. Mm-hmm. They've made their money off of you, and that's it. But, again, like, let's say you buy Outer Worlds 2. And you're done with it. And then you have a buddy who's like, oh, I want to play. Here, dude. I'll sell it to you. Give me like $40. Mm-hmm. Now that's two people that own that game. But Xbox only got whatever they got from the sale from when you bought it. And that's even if you bought it. Obviously, someone who has Gamepass, you could play it that way. So, but that's just for any company. That's why you've always had companies who do things to be like, they want you to buy their game new. Like, remember EA doing online passes and stuff like that. That's why, they don't do it as much anymore, but like, there was always that like, oh, if you buy it new, you get like this code for in-game content and stuff. Mm-hmm. Or if you pre-order the game, meaning you're going to buy it brand new, you get something to go along with it, when you go to GameStop. Like when I pre-ordered Mass Effect 3, I got like that, I think it was a pre-order mission, right? Where you, oh my god, I'm forgetting the name of the alien race that was like that preceded the humans or whatever, that was like the big race, and you met one of them, and then he joined your party and all that. It was like a pre-order mission.
Which one?
For Mass Effect 3.
The Geth?
Not the Geth. It was the alien race that was like you go into their supposed ruins. I don't remember the name, but you meet. Krogan? No, not the. No, it's literally an alien race that doesn't exist anymore. But you meet one that was like in cryostasis.
Oh.
I don't remember the name of the.
I think the Geth one was from the second one, right? No, I think it's the third one. No man.
The Geth guy is. You know what? I don't remember. Man, it's been a while since.
I still need to. I bought the fucking the Legendary Edition. I was like super hyped to play it again because I never played the first one. Like a little bit, but like I said, I think I said before, my pea brain was like, "This isn't shooting. I want action now." And I traded it in, and I played Mass Effect 2, and that shit was amazing as fuck. And I beat the third one, and I kind of wish I kind of had that character from knowing that your character keeps going throughout the games. I wish I beat the first one and stuff.
No, I need to what do you call it? I need to beat the third game, because I actually did beat 1 and 2 when they had the Legendary Edition, but yeah, I should probably try and beat that third game, but I don't know. I'll get to it at some point. Yeah, I don't know. for me, again back to the whole like digital thing. Like this is where it's going, man. Like I think we're just gonna have to accept the Protheans. That's the name of the group. And you meet a character named Javik.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Mass Effect 3 thing. But I think people were just gonna have to accept, because somebody pointed out, I saw this. It was a tweet that all the people complaining about like Xbox doing this, you know, like, oh, I won't be able to have a physical disc. I have to buy the game digitally, or I only get a digital code. Like they all most likely subscribe to you know Spotify or you know Apple Music, and probably watch all their movies through Netflix and Amazon Prime, or buy their movies through Amazon Prime or Amazon or iTunes or whatever. So do they actually buy all their music physical and buy all their movies physical too? Because if you look, like, I don't know, when was the last time you had an actual CD of a music artist you listened
to? I think I didn't get the last used album, but my biggest girlfriend, she got me the album before that. So like 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
But I usually get vinyls. For that shit. For the bands I like.
Yeah.
I got the Linkin Park 20-year anniversary for Hybrid Theory vinyl and CDs and everything.
But see, you said for a band you like, so you're specific. You don't just buy everything like that. It's the same thing as me. Like, even when it comes to games, like I want physical stuff for Gears of War, but for everything else, I'm like, nah, it could be digital. Like I have every Gears game physical, but like I play them digitally, so yeah, everything else is digital. And I'm gonna go on a limb here and say that's probably the majority of most people, that their libraries of movies and music is digital. So there should not be that an issue of their games are digital as well. Mm-hmm. But again, I know I'm gonna have an unpopular opinion.
This is like me and my other buddy were trying to get our other friend to like get a Gamepass, because I'm like, dude, we can just play this game together. And he's like, oh, I'll buy it on Steam. Like, well, if you have Xbox Game PC Pass, it's literally free for you if you play it right now. And then I always say shit like, he's excited for a game. Like, well, like I'm excited for this game. I think Dark Blue. I'm like, oh, I saw that shit. It's on Game Pass. Oh, Warhammer, the fucking Rogue Trader. It's on Game Pass. Oh shit, Space Marine, Game Pass. Oh, guess what? Borderlands, I think, is on Game Pass. Like Borderlands 3 or some shit. Yeah. Like, oh, Game Pass. So I'm like, I gotta win, bro. Like, it's all on Game Pass, but you don't want to buy it because, again, I said it like before. He's like, I want to own my games. So like, dude, you're playing Steam. If you have Steam, you will never own your games, bro.
Oh yeah, I hate that shit too. People are like, I want to own my games, and it's like a PC person. It's like, so you just buy games on Steam. Like, you don't actually own that game. Like, if something happens and they revoke the, like, yeah, that's, oh my god, yeah. Like, when PC people complain about Game Pass, it's like, dude, don't you buy all your games on Steam? And, you know, they want to be like, oh, that, like, you know, Valve's never gonna, like, you know, but, like, Valve's a company too, just like the rest. If, let's say, I don't know, EA is like, you know, hey, we're delisting this game. We need you to, like, delist it. Like, they're going to have to delist it. And then you can't download it anymore. Like, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying. Digital is just... Microsoft is... I'm just saying, in the end, everything I've been rambling on about, for me, Microsoft is trying to push the industry forward, and I see it as a good thing. Is everything going to hit or be popular or even work out in the end or whatever? Maybe not. Definitely not be popular all the way through, but I just think it's the way it needs to go. So, I don't know. All right. We got a few more things. Let's move on to the PlayStation section of our news. Let's start with this first one. I guess Sony started to remove regional restrictions for games on PC. People have noticed it with God of War Ragnarok, Last of Us Part 2, Spider-Man 2, Helldivers 2. So now, it looks like you don't have to have, or at least soon, you won't have to have a PlayStation account, and you'll still be able to just play the game wherever you are in a lot of different regions. So,
no, it's good for them. They finally got what they needed, to play.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really have a lot of thoughts on this. Here in America, we're kind of fine, I guess, but yeah. Oh, you know what? Let's talk about this one. So, Bend Studio, makers of, games like Days Gone. I want to say Siphon Filter was them too, right?
I think so. I think we looked it up a while back.
Yeah. They've just been hit with layoffs. 30% has been laid off. About 40 people.
They did the PSP, I think, right? For the Resistance, I think, and Uncharted the Vita title also.
Oh, yeah, they did do Uncharted Golden Abyss, Days Gone. But yeah, the Siphon Filter was their stuff. But the Resistance Retribution game. Bubsy 3D, what the fuck?
Bubsy, fucking Bubsy, bro.
Yeah, but Siphon Filter was like I think they're like, that was their baby. I actually really enjoyed the Siphon Filter games, but their last game was Days Gone. Wasn't a hit, I guess, and then, there was a remaster recently, but Bend Studio hasn't really been doing much. But yeah, so now Sony's laying off 40 people from the studio. They put out a tweet, one of those pictures. Here's the quote. Today, we said goodbye to some incredibly talented teammates as we transition to our next project. We're deeply thankful for their contributions as they've shaped who we are, and their impact will always be part of our story. This is a difficult moment for our team, but we hold immense respect for everyone who got us here. As we move forward, we remain committed to building the future of Bend Studio with creativity, passion, and innovation in the titles we craft. So it looks like they are making something new. I mean, there's been like that whole, I think, rumors and all that stuff of, maybe even kind of an official announcement that they were working on something. But I don't think anyone knows what they're working on. So... yeah, I mean, we say it every time there's one of these kinds of stories, but fuck, right? Like, just more people losing their job. And it sucks, right? Like, we say this every time.
Especially, like, it's an Oregon studio, man. It's just, like, rip, man. GG, man. No re.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't got much to add to it. It's just another round of layoffs that just have been prevalent for the past couple years in the gaming industry. So, let's go ahead and move to the next thing. Let's move to even worse news. This one, I'm like, this is not gonna work out for them, I think, as well as they hope. So, Last of Us series co-creator Neil Druckmann, he's confirmed that season 3, the lead is going to be Kaitlyn Dever. So Abby's going to be the main character for season 3, which makes sense. If you've played the game, Last of Us Part 2, yeah. to me, I'm like, this is. I think this season's gonna lose even more viewers. Next season, I mean.
Like, time to wait 2 more years and to watch 6 episodes, dude.
Well, supposedly it's gonna have more episodes than this last season, but still, like.
I'll wait to see it, bro.
We've barely seen the character in, the show, and people were already dropping off.
I still haven't seen the last episode. I still haven't seen the last episode.
You haven't?
Nope. I just don't give a shit anymore.
Exactly. See, you know what? You're not alone in that. I mean, I finished the season, but like the season 2 finale had a 55% drop off or something like that. I think that's what it was from the previous season's finale. So
because it's not like. It's just like the Halo gets like the first season. I had to force myself to watch the second season at the end. But this one is just, dude. Like, in my head, I thought they were gonna do like everything for, obviously for Ellie. The next one season would be for fucking Abby, and then conclude it. But no, it's just the dumbest shit, bro. They completely ruined it, and it's just like they gotten. Well, again, like since I didn't watch last episode. Like, what are they gonna kill everybody at the last fucking episode for fucking Ellie? Like, no. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, they're gonna have a new main character. Yes, she got introduced in season 2, but a new main character, and it's the character that killed off. Because a lot of people left after Joel got killed off. So now you're gonna follow the main character, the character that killed him, as the new main character, and clearly it wasn't a popular decision to kill off Joel, because a lot of people stopped watching after that. Now to follow her, I think it's the same thing that like with the game, it's gonna be an unpopular thing that people don't.
And it's gonna be so many fucking. Flashbacks, dude. Probably it's like,
yeah.
Like episode 6 for Last of Us, like in the like last season or whatever. Season 2, episode 6 was just a fucking flashback.
Yeah.
Like okay, and then like the another one was like the fight. I remember some shit. It's just whatever, bro. And this one with Abby, she's gonna obviously relive some of her shit and like, of the whole fucking shooting or finding her dad again and all this fucking stuff. Or reliving the fucking moments again where she kills Joel or whatever, Yeah, the guy that directed it or whatever so he's done making any video game adaptations anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He'll never do it again. I'm like, oh. You let this guy fucking just run control of your shit, bro. From Naughty Dog. It's like... Just do what the game does, bro. Just don't change it. Don't fucking do anything, and especially making seasons shorter, taking longer to make. It ain't no Fallout. That's for damn sure.
So for me, like, you're saying it ain't no Fallout, but the thing is, Fallout is smart in that they're gonna do it's an original story. So if you could just make a good original story, you're good. Whereas The Last of Us Season 2 is adapting a story that already was not a good story. Again, I said this. Like, I didn't know how they were going to do it. I thought it was not going to go well. And sure enough, it didn't go well. Because The Last of Us Part 2 is not a good story. It's just not. There are parts that are good, but overall, it is a bad story. That's why I think The Last of Us Part 2 is a bad game. Because both Last of Us Part 1 and 2 are not great gameplay-wise. I don't, like, people want to act like it is because, they're blind loyalty to either they're blind loyalty to a company or they just want to convince themselves it's awesome. And I've been, victim to that. I've been guilty of doing that shit. I'm going to convince myself this is awesome regardless. But I also don't think I am guilty of it because I'll know when something is bad, but I like it regardless. Just like the Fast and Furious movies. I know those movies are bad, but you're never going to get me to hate those movies because I just want to see the fucking explosions and the ridiculousness of it. I know they're not great movies. They're bad movies. But I still love them, you know? So yeah, like, The Last of Us doesn't have good gameplay. And, like, The Last of Us Part 2 continued that. Also adding stuff like, oh, now we have a jump mechanic. Why do you need a jumping mechanic? They add stuff that was unnecessary that just didn't work. Or like, yeah. Then you go from Last of Us 1 that had a really, really good story. You know, one of the best stories in gaming. To a story that was just like, no. And like, I recently watched a video, like the history of Last of Us Part 2. Like, Neil Druckmann, this was basically what he wanted to do from the beginning. He wanted Joel to die. He wanted it to be a revenge story in Part 1. But, I'm forgetting his name. The guy, Bruce Straley, like, held him back. Like, no, we need to do it this. We should do this. We should do that. And made a lot of changes to the story for Part 1. And, yeah, I think it was for the best. Because once Neil Druckmann had complete control over his own, the game, and this is what his story is, it wasn't good. So yeah, Part 2, the Season 2, just was coming from a negative standpoint, or like a negative. It had to dig itself out of a hole that it didn't dig itself into. I don't know. I don't know a good like metaphor, but yeah. I just think, yeah, now your next season, like yeah, you said probably gonna have to wait 2 years for, is gonna focus on a character that I'm calling right now is not gonna be popular with the casual audience, that clearly didn't like what happened in the second season with certain characters. And then they're probably going to still do stupid shit like they were doing with like cringy dialogue and changing certain things to fit with whatever they feel like they want to do. Like, let's add more, I'm going to be a dad.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'm completely wrong, and this season, or that next season, is just a complete success. But, I don't know. You got anything else?
No.
Any thoughts? Any more thoughts on that?
No.
All right, then. Let's go ahead and end this with this last story. End the podcast with the last story. So PlayStation just had like a business meeting. There's a lot in it. I'm not gonna bore you with every little detail. I will just hit the notes of everything, or not the notes of everything, but basically the gist of it is that they're still going to continue to do live service games and release games on PC. Their platform is still there. It's going to be a focus. I know a lot of people were saying like, "Oh, PlayStation 6 is top of mind," because that's what the CEO of Sony said. That's not his exact quote, or this wasn't his exact quote, but it was something along the lines of that, like the platform that is top of mind. So to me, that's not really like the PlayStation. It's just PlayStation 6. It's the PlayStation brand. But yeah, another point is they're thoughtful about how and if they bring titles to other platforms. Tentpole single player titles, franchises is still their strategy. So they're still going to be making a bunch of single player games. Most of their money comes from the subscriptions and microtransactions. So when it comes to PlayStation Plus, their prices will continue to change as subscribers continue to opt for higher tiers despite price hikes. So, yeah. And they'll continue to add value to PS Plus. So that's basically the gist of everything that was going on with, there's a lot of facts and figures and numbers of, what they're making money off of and how much, but obviously I'm not going to bore you with that. So yeah, like I said, the gist of it is that Sony is still going to be focused on PlayStation, and they're going to focus on PlayStation Plus and still continue to make single player games while also making live service games. But they are going to have a major focus on single player games.
Clearly, Concord.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the gist of it. My takeaway is that, they're gonna raise the price of PlayStation Plus at some point, but they're saying add more value. To me, I'm not saying that this is gonna happen for sure, but to me that says that they're looking at maybe they might want to do what Gamepass is doing, and release their games day and date on PlayStation Plus Premium. But also too, go ahead.
That's the only reason that they would raise their PlayStation Plus would if, their PlayStation game, their monthly games are a lot better.
Yeah.
A lot more AAA titles popping up or something like that. More recent too, not a fucking game came out years ago randomly. Oh, here you go.
Yeah. Also, with them saying that, they're still looking at how they release games on other platforms, mainly PC. I just think that they're going to continue to release games on PC, but I think that eventually they're going to be we make a lot of money selling. Put it this way. They're the publisher for Stellar Blade, I believe. I want to say they are the publisher. And that game has now reached 3 million units in sales. 1 million of that just happens to be on PC, and the game came out this past week or something like that. So it's clearly popular. Stellar Blade. Yeah, Sony Interactive Entertainment is the publisher. And a majority, a third of its sales in less than a week are from the PC user base. And then when you look at other games that they've sold on PC, yeah, there's a majority of sales on PC a lot of the times for not, okay, maybe not all their games, but there's a lot of sales that come from PC. But you even look this isn't PlayStation, Capcom, but they talk about the majority of their sales seem to come from PC, with Monster Hunter. So, yeah, when Sony's talking about that they're looking at how they're going to release their games, I think this is just them talking it's their corporate speak of we're probably going to eventually just release all our games on PC day and date. The way Microsoft does it. Because dollar bill, y'all. It's just the smart thing. You want to make as much money as possible. This is how you do it. Maybe they're, it'll take a while still. They're slow to get to that finish line, but I think they're going to get to that finish line. And the other thing too, they're talking about the platform is top of mind when it comes to PlayStation. Like I said, he said platform, not necessarily the console. So I think that's why when we were talking about Microsoft doing their handheld stuff, why I mentioned PlayStation, because I think they're going to want to go into that market as well. Now, are they going to support it or do what they, have history repeat itself? That's the other thing. So yeah, I just think that this is all leading to Sony emulating a lot of things that Microsoft has already been doing with Xbox. Which to me is the smart business move because you're going to make more money in the end. They want to make more money in the end, right? This is how you do it. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Go ahead and what's your thoughts on the things I was saying?
And for the PlayStation, I think I saw a thing about PlayStation. Well, this guy talking about how PlayStation. I think I said it before the podcast, and they were. I don't know if I did. That they're working on the PlayStation 6, or they're top of their minds is the PlayStation 6. Which is kind of crazy. Because the guy that I watched the video, he's like, the PS5 came out less than 5 years ago. I'm like, I think it came out in 2019, buddy. But we're almost year 6. But okay. But like I said, none of these I think also before when I reiterated back to what I was saying about games are being pushed graphically, bro. Like, why do we need a PS6 if the games that are gonna look like PS4? You know what I mean? I think the only thing I said the last podcast was when, I think I just said on Discord where like the next Blackout, the battle royale for Call of Duty for Black Ops 7, it's gonna be exclusively for the new consoles, or I guess current whatever, like Xbox Series X and PS5, and not for Xbox One and PS4. But still, I feel like it's not gonna be so great, like crazy that I think they're just doing it just to split it, so they can have different game mechanics. But that's something else. But I don't know, man. It's just they want to obviously copy like Xbox with the PlayStation Plus also going up. I think just they want better games. They want people to go to them because I think they're seeing a lot more subscribers, and they can just tell people to clearly just spend more money to get a better membership. But like with Xbox, with us, it goes a few bucks. But guess what? We still get a lot of fucking value for our fucking Game Pass. We still get bangers and shit for our Xbox.
Yeah, like Barbie.
Yeah, Barbie. Peppa Pig that came out.
Oh yeah, that did come out on Game Pass.
But still, dude, like.
Oh, and cool. The PlayStation 5 and the Series X and S came out in 2020.
They came out in 2020? Shit.
Yeah. So it's been about 5 years, almost 5 years.
I thought it came in 2019. I thought it happened before COVID.
2020. Dude, yeah. I thought it was 2019 as well. I looked it up, 2020. But the thing is, the rumors with the PlayStation 6, like that's been around for a while.
Yeah, makes sense. Never mind. I forgot. I was living in the apartment when all that shit happened.
But the rumors with PlayStation 6, that's been around for a while, is that console will come out in 2028. So that's still like 3 years from now.
Yeah, so it's 2 years, so the consoles will be 8 years or something. Yeah. But usually that's what the consoles are, 7+ years before we get a new console.
Well, I mean, shit, what? Yeah, it was like 7 years between PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series XS. Yeah.
360 to...
360 Xbox was, One. What, 2005, 2013? That's an 8-year difference?
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Switch was, 2017? Right?
I want to say yes.
2017 to almost 8 years, right?
So if it did come out, Nintendo Switch. Let me look it up real quick. Yeah, 2017.
Yeah, because I worked when I was at GameStop. I pre-ordered one just because I just had one. So if somebody just wanted my pre-order, I'm like, just give me the money. I'll just give it to you. Just give me $50 for the pre-order down payment. And then I never saw a Switch until fucking whenever Smash Bros came out on the Switch. That's when I bought one.
Huh. So yeah, but I mean, we're both in agreement. Like, PlayStation is it's just a smart thing to basically emulate what Xbox is doing. Because
you get a lot of retention players for sticking with PlayStation Plus. So you got people coming back to you, and you release good games on it. Like all your first-party games from Sony are now playable to get that shit. Nobody's to buy all that shit, bro. And especially with having people let's just say Final Fantasy. They had that shit for a while. Like they could have done some crazy shit with it. Like if you had PlayStation Plus or whatever, like the higher tier one, boom, you get that game. You're like, oh shit, dude, that's sick. Because like, we're both down playing Ultimate. You know, like, I think we get bang for a buck for that shit. I think I said it before.
For Game Pass?
It's such a good
oh,
deal.
no.
Yeah, like,
I have no regrets. Even if you just take this year into account of having Game Pass Ultimate. From just this year alone, I started out, I played Avowed, and I enjoyed Avowed. I know a lot of people want to shit on that game, but that game was great. You know, I played Doom the Dark Ages. The game was awesome. I didn't get through, I haven't played the Claire Obscure game, but by all intents and purposes, like, people love that game, so if I did decide to play it, I probably would have enjoyed it, whatever. But, like, still this year, I'm going to get Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 remakes, the remake. Mm-hmm. I love the Tony Hawk games. Like, there's no reason to believe that I'm not going to enjoy playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. There's still the Outer Worlds 2. I'll probably play Grounded 2 when it comes out, you know, because I did enjoy the first one enough. Gears of War Reloaded. Call of Duty Black Ops 7. Like, I'm going to play that too. I don't have to buy it. Yeah. And I, regardless of, you know, people hating on Call of Duty or not or whatever, I still enjoy playing the Call of Duty games, at least for the campaigns and a little bit of multiplayer here and there, because they still play well. They're still good enough, like, feeling in the way they play. But yeah, like, I just named, what was that, like 5 games that I'll play, 6 games that I'll play throughout the year. Like, yeah, paying, you know, $240 or whatever it is for the year. No, that's not right. I don't remember how much it is right now. Because $20, right? Yeah, that's $240, I think. I'm getting my money's worth. And I still buy games. Like, I bought Elden Ring, Night Rain. Like, I still buy games.
And I'm saying, like, since you have Game Pass, you get all those games, you don't have to worry about buying them, so you can buy the other games that aren't on Game Pass.
Yeah.
You know?
But not only that, like, I'm also willing to spend more, like I got the Avowed Premium Edition upgrade. Because I was like, you know what, I don't have to buy the game. It's on Game Pass. I'll pay this extra.
Don't forget, you also played Oblivion Remake. That's the other one.
Oh, Oblivion, yeah. Oblivion Remastered. Duh. And I put a lot of fucking hours into that game. I got all the achievements. But yeah, I bought the Doom the Dark Ages, like, premium upgrade. I'm going to do the same thing for the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. If they do an Outer Worlds Premium Edition upgrade, I'm going to get that. I think I saw it is already up. Like, anytime there's like a Premium Edition upgrade, I typically go ahead and buy it. Because I'm getting the game without having to actually buy the game because of Game Pass. So, as a way of like, you know what? I'll go ahead and give you the extra $20 to get the Premium Edition of this game. So that way I can, you know, yeah, maybe I'll get to play it a couple days early or whatever it is, but also I get some extra stuff. Because it's just like, oh, it's, to me, it's essentially buying the game for $20. Like, I'm fine with that. To spend that that little extra. Yeah. Game Pass, that's why, yeah, if my reading of all the PlayStation, you know, business meeting stuff is correct, that they eventually are going to end up just emulating Xbox with what they do with Game Pass. Yeah, I'll probably do the same thing. If I have PlayStation Plus Premium and it's just Game Pass, but for PlayStation, yeah, they do a Premium Edition upgrade for a game that I want to play. I'll go ahead and spend the money for that. Probably even for games that I'm not necessarily was going to play, but you know what? Fuck it. I don't have to buy it. I'll go ahead and just, you know, so I could play it a couple days early and whatever. Or maybe not. I don't know. Like Intergalactic, I probably won't do that. But, you know, if there's a new Uncharted game or, you know, obviously a God of War game or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Resistance, man. They bring it back from the grave.
I just think it'd be smart too, because PlayStation is the is the market leader. You know, so if people could just get their games through a Gamepass style subscription, I think they would get more people subscribing to PlayStation Plus.
Mm-hmm. Because then guess what? I'm assuming we would probably get the version of PlayStation Plus for sure. Mm-hmm. See, that's just upgraded fucking membership.
But like all these Sony fanboys who shit on Game Pass, you know damn well that PlayStation Plus, they come out with like, oh, here's PlayStation Plus Premium, you know, it's still called that. Huh?
It's like, this is our answer to combat Xbox's Game Pass.
PlayStation Plus Premium is now just
perfect.
This.
Perfect. That's brilliant Sony.
Yeah. They're all going to they're going to all say like how this is a smart business move, and they're definitely going to subscribe and play their games that way.
You get 5 years of it, dude.
Yeah. If Sony came out tomorrow and said like, hey, PlayStation Plus Premium's being revamped. It's now games are coming out day and date. Oh yeah. The amount of praise that it's going to get from all the people who are shitting on Game Pass right now. It's going to be hilarious. Because you know damn well that's how it's going to be.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying I'm going to be able to play The Last of Us, the special, like all 3 different versions, right? The PS3, the PS4, the PS5, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Hell yeah, bro. This is why I buy PlayStation Plus, Pass, or whatever.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Again, my takeaway from this, PlayStation's got to push forward too. I also think that, yeah, they're looking at like, hey, maybe we got to do the handheld. I mean, there's the rumors too that they were looking at it, but they're probably looking like, hey, yeah, we got to, you know, let's make a PlayStation OS and have a handheld. Or maybe they just want to make their own proprietary handheld. The Portal 2 is now an actual handheld or something. But yeah, I don't know. Mm-hmm. You got any more thoughts on it?
Nope.
Okay. I think we could go ahead and end the podcast on that note then. All right, let's go ahead and call it a podcast.
Yay. Now that's a podcast.
Now that's a podcast. So, this was Gaming Chamber Podcast episode, what was I saying again? 55? No, 56, right? Yeah, 56. I gotta keep track of that a lot better. Yeah, 56. I was your host, Everett. JJ?
Peace out, guys. And remember, this is for Devin. Grip it or rip it.
Oh, God. All right, and until next time, we'll catch you later.